Good morning, Facebook and YouTube world. This is Ben Smock with Canopy. I want to welcome everybody to the Canopy Cafe on Friday, May 29th of 2020. Can't believe it's already May 29th. Can't believe it's Friday. These are mostly good things. I appreciate everybody joining us this morning and all of you who have joined the Canopy Cafes that we've been hosting every morning at 10 a.m., speaking with business leaders, nonprofit executives, community leaders, just folks that are in support of and leading the good business movement here in Kentucky and beyond. And, tuning in and listening to these stories is inspiring for me. I hope it's inspiring for all of you, because we need to share the wonderful business practices that continue to happen, the people that are leading the charge, and how we can step up in individual ways, organizational ways, and in other ways to really make positive impact for people, our planet, and our future here in Kentucky and beyond. We started having these Canopy Cafes because all of us at Canopy missed having people come to our office over in Portland and having these conversations, talking about ideas and how business owners can embed certain social and environmental practices into their business models, or if they have ideas for us as we grow as a startup nonprofit organization building something entirely new. And so we took the conversations digitally, and we've had some wonderful conversations with outstanding leaders in this community. And today we are fortunate and happy to have Rayn Jones. Rayn is the co-founder of Roots and Jones. He's the co-founder with his grandfather. And Roots and Jones, they create products that are bigger than just handmade wooden pens. It's really a way for them to encourage people to get back to their roots, closer to their purpose. And I met Rayn a while ago and was fortunate enough to have one of his pens. They're beautiful. They make a fantastic product. And Rayn has been and continues to be committed to social elements to this business as he's building it. And we'll talk a little bit about that this morning. And Roots and Jones is also a letter of intent company with Canopy. So we're very proud to have Rayn and his company on board. And we'll talk more about how you can get involved with becoming a letter of intent later in the show. So stay tuned. But now I would like to go ahead and introduce Rayn and bring him onto the show.
Hi, Ben. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
It's really good.
Morning, Rayn. Everything going well in your world?
Yeah, things are going great. I'm just feeling very blessed during this time to still, have a job, have work, and not, feel like I'm in a pandemic. It's more of like I'm just working from home and I'm not, in the fire, so to speak. So I'm feeling very blessed in that sense.
Absolutely. Me too. I'm definitely thankful to still have a job and to be able to work from home. It's amazing the tools that we have at our disposal to be able to do that. So definitely thankful. So tell us a little bit about your background and the genesis of Roots and Jones.
All right. So I am just a recent grad from the University of Kentucky last May. So about a year ago. And I started Roots and Jones about 2 years ago whenever my grandfather and I, he's always kind of made these wooden pens or been like a woodworker and all of this stuff. And so I went to him and asked him to make me a pen and like kind of for us to do it together. There was no intent of, let's do this to start a business. Let's do this to, give back or anything like that. It was more of just, Grandpa, let's make a pen together. Let's have a good, let's spend some time together. And then we made that pen, and then I kept using it just out in public, in class or whatever, and people just kept commenting and was like, oh, that's a really cool pen. Where'd you get it? And I was like, oh, I made it. So it's kind of, since then I've started, maybe we should start, people want these things. Maybe people would like them. Maybe people would buy them. So that's kind of what sparked it. And then just ever since then, just been going forward with it, creating new pens, creating new, using different wood types, kind of expanding from there and just kind of getting a feeler of what people like and what people don't like. And it's been really fun. It's been a really great experience.
That's good. That's really good. And a lot of your work is focused on the stories that are associated with each pen that you make. So talk a little bit about that storytelling aspect to your business.
Yeah, so we really believe like everyone has a story, and we kind of put that, not just everyone has a story, but I feel like each pen also has a story. So, you know, my girlfriend lives in Brazil, and I went there to visit her, and we went on a little road trip, and there was a lumber yard, and we stopped and got some wood and brought it home, and like that's a story in itself of going and sourcing the wood on our own and really kind of allowing people to connect with it. We make pens out of Bethlehem olive wood, so for any people that are like trying to live a spiritual life or anything like that, it's kind of cool to have that in their hands, like wood from the Holy Land, and be able to really connect with that, as well as, that we're in Kentucky, there's a lot of bourbon drinkers, there's a lot of bourbon fanatics, and being able to make pens out of bourbon barrels is really fun and really cool. And I think it kind of is very unique, and it's something people can use every day. It's a practical gift. It's something that, people can connect with while they're writing their own stories. It's a lot more powerful to have that versus, just being a typical pen or just typing on a computer. I feel like it really connects you to the paper, to your story, and all of that sort of things.
Absolutely. I have to say, the first time we met, you were so gracious to give me one of your pens, and it is the pen usually that I take to what I'll call important meetings, and because it usually does spark a conversation, and I do talk about it. So it's amazing how often that happens, and how often the story gets told about you and your granddad and this work, and it's cool. It's amazing the impact that can have.
Mm-hmm.
So Rayn, tell us a little bit about the times that we're living in, the global pandemic, and how it's affected your work, and how you're adapting.
Well, so I mean, it's greatly affected my work. A lot of people have a hard time looking at, luxury handmade pens and online and being able to like, oh, I want that or anything like that. It's very hard. And, presenting people with these things in person, people can see, okay, now I see the value in it, or now I see the interest in it. So in that aspect of me not being able to have meetings, or me not being able to go to shows, art shows, or anything like that, that's been really hard for my company. But at the same time, like, it's been kind of refreshing. So what I did to kind of combat this was I implemented what I called value added pricing. So basically I dropped all the prices on my website to zero, and basically people would just order a pen at $0, and then whatever they valued the pen at is what I then asked for a donation. And so that was really cool, because people that, typically wouldn't, spend $100 on a pen were able to get one at their own price. And during this time, because right now I'm unaffected, so to speak, of like the financial burden behind this. So it's kind of, I'm okay with giving away pens. I'm okay with, getting at cost, or getting just whatever people can afford. And it's kind of cool to see their value behind it. So it was very unique to see that. And additionally, whenever people would donate, if whatever they donated that was over what the cost of the pen to be put into it, so like whatever the pen cost to make, if they donated anything more than that, I took that profit and then made a lump sum donation to actually, there's a food bank here in Louisville called Dare to Care. It's a part of Feeding America. So I think just being able to give back to the community and give back to, the people that can't necessarily afford meals, can't afford to, go to Kroger or whatever, just to even get their food right now during this like crisis, because they're scared, or they can't afford it, or they've lost their job. And, I just wanted to be able to give back during that time. So that was really, really cool for me to be able to do that with my pens, and be able to just give back during this time.
That's such an amazing approach. And, fortunate to not be in a risky financial situation to where you can do something like that. And then you see the impact that it can make, people that are able to contribute more, and then that gets parlayed into some really important work being done by our friends at Dare to Care. So that's amazing. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think it really speaks to this ongoing, this continuously evolving entrepreneurial spirit that exists. And you're a great example of that. And as a company that has signed the letter of intent to become Canopy certified, and as an entrepreneur who clearly has this social mission just embedded within you that you put into your business. So in your words, what does all of that mean? What does good business mean to you, as you think about things like that? Because that's such a cool entrepreneurial way to think.
Well, I feel like, especially like as a result of this pandemic, I feel like good business is not only, looking to give back, but creating business models that incorporate that within it. So like, everyone, I feel like big businesses, big corporations, these past couple of years or decades or anything, they look to make profit and then give back. I feel like there's a big movement now and just being like, okay, this is what my business is, and this is how I can give back throughout business. So like, this is how I can give back throughout making pins, or this is how I'm, using my pins to be able to give back, not just like, I'm going to sell a pin and then I'll give 10% away or anything like that. So I want to be able to down the road incorporate good business into the model. So like, I'm envisioning being able to employ people like homeless people or people that have, succumbed to drug addiction and are recovering. I want to be able to down the road employ these people and, help them get a step up, because I feel like once this happens, everyone's afraid to open a door for them. Everyone's afraid to actually, give them a second chance. And I feel like these people can do this. They can, get out of this stuff. And I think it's really important for business to do that. And also I think another side of good business is being a good consumer as well. So like, we're all consumers, we're all buying things, we're all shopping, we're all going to eat. And I think, I saw somewhere in an article where since this pandemic, the US billionaires have gained in their wealth another almost $400 billion. And whereas we have 30 million people that are on unemployment during this time. So I feel like there's also something to say for the consumer as well, to be able to say, hey, like, I'm willing to maybe pay a couple extra dollars to get a meal at a local restaurant versus a chain or something like that. Or even, I'm willing to maybe pay a little more for a luxury gift that's handmade, that's, local, that's actually trying to make an impact versus going on Amazon. I mean, I'm very guilty of it too. I've ordered things off of Amazon and all this other stuff. And like, Amazon isn't the enemy, it's, they're putting something that's very convenient for us and very convenient for the world. I think it's more of like, how can we as a consumer watch what we're doing, as well as, also business leaders saying, hey, this is how I can help and give back during these times as well.
Absolutely. There's a lot to unpack in everything that you just said, Ryan. And first of all, a moment of gratitude for that vision for your business. I think,
thank you.
From where I've been from a work experience standpoint in the nonprofit sector, we have an outstanding and robust nonprofit sector here in Louisville and throughout Kentucky. And we also see persistent social and environmental problems. And what that says to me is there needs to be an extra tool in the tool belt. There needs to be this approach to business like what you're talking about that is, front loaded as opposed to at the end, right? Giving back once you're able to, but really incorporating these principles that take some of these complex, deep rooted social and environmental issues and find solutions along the way. And supportive employment is absolutely a wonderful example of that. I mean, I think some of the biggest indicators for, recovery and staying on the right path is, financial security, employment, things like that, that just kind of help you go down this path. And if you don't have some of these things in place, then the likelihood that you fall back into previous vicious cycles is greater. And so
there's a purpose, like, I feel like these people need something to live for. They, just like I need something to live for. I mean, they need it as well. And I feel like no one is willing to open that door for them. So I want to be able to do that and, be able to help out any way that I can.
Absolutely. And that's what we're focused on too. I mean, in Kentucky and throughout the United States, small business makes up 99% of the total businesses. The Amazons of the world have a tremendous footprint and, impact nationally, globally. And there's also a strong opportunity. There's an opportunity for small businesses to influence upwards, right? To develop these business models, to be the leaders in this good business movement, which means just embedding that social and environmental consciousness in your DNA from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inspiring, for us at Canopy to know of entrepreneurs like you that are coming into this, they're building their business, and that's just so centrally fixated. And we believe that that will be a great indicator for your success in the long run. And a lot of it plays back to the storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
just everyone has a story to tell. Every business has a story to tell as well. I mean, Nike started in just a random guy wanted to make nice running shoes and be able to sell them. Amazon started in a garage. All these things started small businesses. So I feel like each business has a story to tell. Each person has a story to tell. And I feel like I want to help write those stories and help, and not even just write them, but enable people to, tell their own stories, allow people to feel empowered about their story, and, be inspired by other, like, people that you wouldn't even think to be inspired by. I think it's really, really cool.
You've alluded to it in the comments you've been making. What's your vision for the post-COVID world as it pertains to the good business movement? What do you want to see?
I want to see, let me think about this. I really want to see consumers be mindful of what they're spending their money on. I really think that's very important. This whole COVID thing has really made me think, you know what, I'm willing to do something that's not convenient for me if it's going to help someone that's local, actually a person. Like, I feel like if we're going to make a change in the world, we have to make a change in the community. And I think, if I'm willing to go out of my way for an extra 10-minute drive or pay an extra $10 for a meal at a local restaurant, then that's a decision I need to make. And that's something that I think is worth it in the long run. And it's more sustainable than just going to, big chain restaurant, or just being able to do that, as well as just, I think from now on, I think people need to be aware of companies and their policies, and also, like, look at companies and say, hey, what were they doing for their employees during this time? Or what were they doing for their customers during this time? Were they trying to rake in as much profit as they could, or were they looking to actually help their employees and help the people behind their entire businesses? And I think if they're not, then I think we should, be aware of that and spend our money elsewhere.
I agree. I think that's going to be very important moving forward. It always kind of has been, but sometimes it takes an extra, impetus to really make it in front of people's faces to truly pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've been seeing a lot is the signs of our 2020 graduates, high school, college, middle school. Everybody's been so impacted by this, and I feel for the students that are not able to finish out their school years or momentous years in their education in the ways that they would like to because of everything with the pandemic. And Roots and Jones has a cool offer for graduates going on right now. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we have a 25% discount off of all of our pins for any recent grad, or actually that's for anyone. I mean, if you just you don't know a recent grad or whatever, you can still get that. But also, if you're a recent grad, we want to know your story. We want to know what you're going to do after graduation. So if you actually email me at Rayn@rootsandjones.com. And if you email me your story, email me what you're doing, or just say, hey, I just graduated, I'd love to, get a pin. I will personally give you a 50% off discount off all pins. They make amazing gifts, and we just want to, allow you to better write this story whenever you're on to the next chapter of life. I think it's, this past year for me, ever since I graduated, has been amazing. It's been a great year for growth. It's been a great year for just seeing where I was a year ago and being able to reflect on that. So I think I want to be able to give you all a tool to grow and be able to write this next chapter in your life.
Very cool. I think that's a wonderful thing that you have going on there. So tell people where they can go to. You mentioned your email, so email, website, social media. Where can people go to find out
more?
Very
easy. Rootsandjones.com. ROOTS and Jones.com, or that's my website. All my pins are there. A little bit more about our stories there. A little bit more info on the wood types and the process behind making the pins. All of that is on there, as well as you can follow us on Instagram at Roots and Jones. It's just very easy for, follow our content, follow what we posted, follow our new products, follow how, we're making an impact. I think that would really help us out a lot.
Perfect. And it's spelled out the letter or the word and, not an
Yeah.
ampersand.
Okay.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, before we part ways here, Ryan, I wanted to offer you the opportunity for any closing remarks, calls to action, anything that you would like the audience to know.
Well, I would like to bring a light to what's happened in Minnesota this past week. I really think it's important for me as a white man to not, I don't condone those actions. I think it's despicable what happened to George Floyd. I think that's, I think that's something that is very present in all communities in the U.S. And I think for me, we need to just say, hey, this isn't right, and you need to actually make actions on it. So I'm going to take some time to reflect on it and see what I can do as a business, but I'm looking forward to being able to maybe do helping in some sort of way versus just staying silent. I think we have a obligation to stand up for, our fellow people of color, our Black brothers and sisters. And in all honesty, they're amazing people, and they're our equal. I mean, I think it's silly that it's 2020 and things like this are still happening. So I just want to call attention to that. I just want to thank you all for having me on. I'm very blessed to be able to be doing this in this time. I thank you for having me on. I thank you for, extending this opportunity for me to become Canopy certified down the road. I think it's going to be great. I think it's really awesome what you all are doing and all the people that you all have brought on and all the good you all are trying to do in your community. If you want to change the world, I really believe you have to change your community first. And I just thank you all for taking this mission upon yourselves to do that. So thank you for having me on. You can check me out at rootsandjones.com and Roots and Jones on Instagram, all this stuff. So thank you.
Well said, Ryan, and thank you for everything that you said and everything that you're doing. We agree. We're going to be working on all of these things as well. And I appreciate your words, appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in person one of these days. Yeah, otherwise we'll connect. We'll still be in touch. But anyways, we'll go ahead and part ways here. But thank you so much for stopping by the cafe.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. All right, everyone, that was Ryan Jones with Roots and Jones, and you can check out all their information, like Ryan said, rootsandjones.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social medias that you use. Clearly, Ryan has an entrepreneurial spirit that is indicative of the way the world is moving, and it's this social and environmental consciousness that needs to be embedded with your business at every stage, from its inception to every stage as you grow. And we're so proud to have Roots and Jones on board as a Canopy certified letter of intent company. And today I want to leave you with several calls to action that you can take if you are enjoying these cafes, if you believe in the good business movement and want to do more. The first of which is to sign the charter for good business. We are trying to collect signatures of anybody and everybody who believes in the good business movement and believes that businesses should be more and more responsible to social and environmental solutions, and embedding that within their DNA as a company, and supporting people and supporting our environment. So if you believe in Canopy's work, please sign the Charter for Good Business. It's super easy. All it takes is your name and email. Also, if you have a business and you are interested in learning more about becoming Canopy certified, we are trying to generate as many companies to sign the letter of intent as possible. And it's a super easy process. And all you would have to do is inquire at canopyky.org and connect with me, and I'll provide more information to you. And we are trying to get as many socially and environmentally minded businesses on board as we can. So you can learn more at canopyky.org. And lastly, we're a startup nonprofit organization, and we are fueled by donations. And so if you are interested and able to contribute to our cause, we would love you for it. And you can go to canopyky.org/donate or text to give at the number you see below. Any donation truly helps advance our mission and really helps us in our growth right now at this important stage as an organization. So thank you all so much for taking time to stop by the Canopy Cafe this morning. We'll be back next week with some more amazing guests, and I hope you all will tune in live streaming on Facebook and YouTube at 10 a.m. So I hope everybody has a great weekend and hope y'all take care. Thanks for stopping by.